let's take a look at Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football. It is Kansas City -2.5 at Las Vegas. It is, again, an early line here. Kansas City coming off an ugly win against the Rogerless Green Bay Packers. Vegas, a loser to the Giants, one of those upsets last week. So -2.5 here, a road favorite. Now, after last week, Sean, does a road favorite scare you?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, that last week, it's hard to. I think last week was obviously an aberration, but like, it also points to the fact that, like you said earlier in one of the segments, there's an elite tier of teams, but even that elite tier isn't what it was, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. There's a terrible bracket. I mean, when you look at like the NFC right now, the AFC, where these teams are, 12 teams. If you count the Colts at 4 and 5, there's 11 teams that are at 500 or above, including all of the AFC West and all of the AFC North. There's a lot of these teams that are the same, parity. You want to call it whatever you want to call it, but these teams, they have the ability to throw out a clunker like the Raiders did against the Giants, and the Chiefs obviously didn't look great against the Packers. Their offense is broken here. Something happened.
So what do you think? What do you think's going on? Now, we knew their defense wasn't very good. Their offensive line was supposed to be better this year.
I don't think it is
because of health. So other than Edwards-Helaire, who isn't a great running back, other than Edwards-Helaire, everybody is really still intact. What is going on with that offense?
I think a couple of things. First of all, I think that Super Bowl loser. It's not. They call it a curse, but it's just when you lose a Super Bowl, you work so long and so hard to win, and when you fall short, it just kind of, unless you're like so mentally tough. I mean, it definitely, bleeds into the next year. I think that's one thing. I think, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is big. I mean, they're definitely missing a running game. They had 70 yards rushing, but, he can break some. He takes a little bit of the pressure off. I think the line is an issue. Obviously, in the Super Bowl, the line was a disaster. But here's the thing, and when you go to the Sunday Night Football bets and odds story, I'm on the. There's a lot of people that look at Kansas City's schedule and say they do have a pretty tough schedule coming up. They play a lot of teams that are over 500. So I'm on the other side of this wagon. If the Chiefs, if they can figure out what is wrong with the offense, I think the Chiefs have a chance to really go on a run here. Win that division. The Chargers are pretty good too, but get into the playoffs and do some damage if they fix the offense. I don't know if it's just Mahomes. Maybe they figured him out at this point, but he was so good for 3 years. Mahomes dominated the league for 3 years. The Chiefs dominated the league for 3 years. They were this close they lost in overtime when New England beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. They were this close to going to 3 straight Super Bowls. So, I just think it's something that can be figured out. I don't know. You just have to see. Now, Edwards-Helaire might be back this week. You just have to keep checking the injury updates. And Las Vegas lost a couple of key defensive players, so I think that may make a difference in this game as well.
All right, so at 2.5 at Vegas, Kansas City, the favorite in this one. Who do you like?
Well, Kansas City's won 6 of the last 7 between these two teams. They split last year, both close games. They're both high-scoring games, 35-31 Kansas City, 42-30 Las Vegas in Vegas. I like Kansas City here. I think the Raiders are a disaster. Off the field problems, on the field issues with injuries. The Chiefs are finally over 500 heading into down the stretch here, but they're in prime time again. I just think that they're going to win this game and pull ahead of the Raiders and really just start focusing in on a playoff berth. And I just think they got to get into the playoffs. If they're in the playoffs, I think doesn't matter, road, home, whatever. If they're in the playoffs with this team and the talent on this team, I think they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and I already told you that I like Kansas City as part of my parlay power play of the week. So yeah, and I just keep waiting for that offense to click. I just can't believe it won't.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting for a little while now. But I will go with Kansas City -2.5 at Vegas.
And once again, you talk about these Sunday night games. When you go to the site, the How to Bet, and click on each game, we put prop bets for each ones, and like I said, doing pretty well. I think, I took obviously I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think they win the race to 20 points. It's just a little bit above even money, -118. So that's one of them. But, go over to the site and check and see all the other best prop bets for Sunday night, and make sure you keep going, because they're, these games, and you see like COVID and all kinds of stuff. You got to make sure you keep checking the injury report, and it's right in the site. Just go in there, click the injury report, and you can see it. Just keep going back to the site every day to make sure nothing changes too much.
Yeah, and remember, you watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Leave us comments, go down to the links, all links in the description box, stories, previews, odds, injury updates, and of course, exclusive offers. You have to go to howtobet.com to get it. So go to howtobet.com.